Please hit that like button and help me reach 7,000 subscribers. Drop a comment, I read every single one. Thank you. I was drifting somewhere between drained and strangely light when my phone vibrated. The plane had just touched down. The cabin was half-lit, passengers rising in that slow, impatient shuffle while the aisle stayed jammed. I pressed my knuckles into my eyes, rolled my neck, and fished the phone from my pocket, expecting the usual safe landing. Or, how was the flight? Text. Instead, I read this from Tessa. I'm already home, baby, counting the minutes until you step inside. For one heartbeat, I actually felt my mouth curve upward. After weeks of growing space, after months of clipped words and frozen evenings, those lines felt like sunlight. Like the old days when everything between us still sparkled. Then the curve flattened. 40 minutes earlier, while we were still crawling toward the gate, I had opened the secret camera feed, the tiny lens I'd hidden in the hallway air vent 2 months ago. Not because I'm crazy. Because little things had stopped lining up. Unexplained charges, weird gaps in her calendar, the way she flipped her phone face down the instant I entered a room. When I refreshed the feed just before the seatbelt sign went off, the picture was crystal clear. Tessa was not alone. She wasn't even trying to look alone. So when her message glowed on my screen, "I'm home waiting for you," something icy and precise slid between my ribs. Not rage, not betrayal in the screaming sense, just the clean, brutal click of the last puzzle piece snapping into place. Passengers began filing out. I typed, "Funny. I'm watching you right now on the hallway camera, nothing else." No exclamation marks, no extra words. I hit send. Delivered. Read receipt appeared instantly. Then radio silence. No bouncing dots, no frantic typing, no damage control paragraph, just nothing. And that nothing spoke louder than any confession ever could. I left the terminal with a steadiness I didn't know I owned. The night air was crisp, stars sharp overhead, suitcase wheels singing their familiar rhythm on the concrete like this was any other business trip coming to an end. Inside my chest, though, there was a new hollowness, like the marriage-shaped space had already packed its bags and left. I didn't speed, I didn't call anyone. I simply walked to the rideshare zone with calm hands and even breath, aware that the life I thought I was returning to had quietly ended while I was 35,000 feet in the air. Halfway home, my phone finally woke up. Tessa. Miles, what are you talking about? Tessa, what camera? Tessa, babe, just come home, we'll talk, please, no denial, no admission, just time-buying questions, trying to stay one step ahead of the moment I crossed the threshold. I left her on read. The driver had some late-night jazz station murmuring low. Streetlights streaked across the windshield and painted moving stripes over my face. For the first time in forever, the knot between my shoulder blades loosened. We turned onto our street. Every light in the house blazed, warm, welcoming, perfectly staged. Her car sat alone in the driveway, postcard-level normal. I paid, stepped out, pulled my bag from the trunk, and stood on the curb for a few seconds breathing cold air. The porch glowed like it was waiting to hug me. The front door was unlocked. Someone moved behind the curtains. Inside smelled of spiced apple candles, the ones she always lit when she wanted the house to feel safe and sweet. She appeared at the far end of the hall, hair in a loose knot, wearing that pale blue sweater she pulls out when she wants to look soft and harmless. Her eyes, though, were wide and busy, measuring every inch of me. "Miles," she said gently, "can we sit and talk?" I lowered the suitcase slowly, eyes locked on hers. "Of course," I answered. "Let's talk." But I wasn't really looking at her. I was looking past her shoulder to the spot in the hallway where someone had definitely been standing an hour ago. And at the tiny shift of her weight that told me the night was already sliding out of her control. She pressed her hands together like she was praying for the right script. "Miles, whatever you think you saw," I raised one palm. Not one explanation until I ask a question." Her lips closed fast. That quick flutter of lashes, she was rewriting the scene in her head. I knew that flutter. It showed up every time I asked why she came home late, why her clothes carried a stranger's scent. "Tessa," I said, voice level. I checked the hallway feed before we even reached the gate. Her face didn't crumple or freeze. It rearranged like an actress slipping into a new role. "Why would you put a camera in our house?" Accusation, not shock. There it was. Confirmation wrapped in outrage. "I didn't spy," I said. "I protected what's mine." Silence grew thick. She flicked a glance toward the bedroom, quick but not quick enough. "Is he still here?" I asked, her breath caught just a hair. "Miles," she whispered, "there's no one here." "Then you won't mind if I look." I walked past her. She didn't grab my arm, didn't block the way, didn't even follow at first. She just stood frozen, watching the future fall apart in real time. Bedroom empty. Guest room empty. Bathroom door open, shower bone dry. I came back through the living room and felt it, the faint warmth still hanging in the air, the ghost of body heat. Then I saw the back door resting ajar, not flung wide, just eased open enough for a man to vanish into the dark. I turned. Tessa leaned against the wall, arms wrapped tight around her ribs like the temperature had plummeted. "Miles," she said, voice finally splitting, "it's not what you think." I looked at her with exhausted, clear eyes. "Then tell me what it is, because the camera doesn't lie." Her gaze dropped. She swallowed once hard. He only came over to talk." I almost laughed. The lie was so thin it was insulting. "To talk," I echoed. She nodded too fast. "That's all, I swear." "Tessa," I said quietly, "he just ran out the back door." Something in her face gave up. Not shattered, not remorseful, just naked. "Fine," she breathed. "Yes, he was here, but nothing happened tonight." I nodded once. "Tonight." She looked away. That was every answer I needed. I sank onto the arm of the couch, the whole miserable year settling on my shoulders. Every fight, every night she slept on the far edge of the mattress like I was contagious. "How long?" I asked. She hesitated, lip trembled. "A few months." "A few months." Exactly when the warmth began draining out of our house like air from a slow leak, she took one small step. "Miles, I'm so sorry. I was lonely. You were gone all the time, always exhausted, always somewhere else." I lifted my hand again. "Don't rewrite the story tonight, Tessa, not with me." Tears gathered and clung to her lashes. "I'll end it. I'll block him. I'll do anything. Please just don't leave." I studied the woman I once planned to sit beside when we were old and gray. The woman who used to steal grapes from my cart in the grocery store and laugh like a kid. The woman whose hand found mine in the dark at movies. The woman who squeezed 3 times, "I love you," and meant it. "Tessa," I said softly, "I'm not angry." She blinked through tears. "You're not." I shook my head. "Anger would mean I still expected something from you, loyalty, honesty, respect. I don't expect anything anymore." The tears spilled. She pressed both hands to her mouth. "I'm calm," I went on, "because I finally see clearly." "See what?" she whispered. "That I'm leaving someone who left me a long time ago." Her legs folded. She slid down the wall, sobbing my name like it still had power. But the name sounded hollow now, like calling into an empty house. I stood, picked up my suitcase, and walked to the door. Behind me, her voice broke wide open. "Miles, please, please don't go." I paused with my hand on the knob. "Tessa," I said without looking back, "you walked out first." Then I stepped into the night, pulled the door shut behind me, and left, not in fury, not for revenge, but with the quiet certainty of a man who finally knows exactly where he stands.